Niccolò Machiavelli is not just a philosopher, but a lens through which the hidden mechanics of human behavior become visible. His name has been turned into a symbol of manipulation and cold ambition, yet this reputation says more about our discomfort with truth than about Machiavelli himself. He did not invent deception or cruelty, he simply refused to ignore them. Living in the unstable world of Renaissance Italy, surrounded by betrayal, fragile alliances, and constant struggle for power, he observed how people actually behave when survival is at stake. Unlike thinkers who described ideal morality, Machiavelli focused on reality without illusion. What he saw was unsettling. People are not guided by principles as much as they are driven by fear, desire, insecurity, and self-interest. This insight forms the foundation of his philosophy. It forces us to confront the possibility that the systems we trust and the values we defend are often shaped not by truth, but by power. His work challenges the comforting belief that good intentions naturally lead to good outcomes. Instead, he shows that influence, perception, and control often matter far more. Even today, his ideas feel uncomfortably relevant because human nature has not changed. Beneath modern society, the same instincts remain active. We still seek advantage, fear loss, and adjust our behavior when pressure rises. Machiavelli's philosophy strips away illusion and leaves us with a question that is difficult to ignore. Are we truly guided by morality or by forces we prefer not to acknowledge?
One of Machiavelli's most widely discussed ideas captures this reality in a single sentence. It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. At first, this appears harsh and even cruel, but it is not a celebration of brutality. It is an observation about stability. Love is built on emotion, loyalty, and trust, all of which are unstable and subject to change. People may care deeply, yet abandon that loyalty when circumstances shift or personal interest intervenes. Fear, however, creates consistency. It establishes boundaries and consequences that are not easily ignored. A person who is feared is less likely to be betrayed because the risks are clear and immediate. Machiavelli recognized that relying solely on love places one's position in the hands of others, making it fragile and unpredictable. Fear, when applied carefully, creates a structure that can be maintained. However, he also understood the danger of excess. Fear must never turn into hatred, because hatred destroys authority. Once people begin to despise a leader, control begins to collapse. The true skill lies in maintaining balance, creating enough fear to ensure stability without provoking resentment. This balance reveals that power is not simply about force, but about managing perception and expectation. It is about understanding how people think and react, and shaping those reactions in a way that preserves control. When viewed this way, Machiavelli's idea is less about cruelty and more about psychological insight. Another core principle in Machiavelli's philosophy is the belief that outcomes matter more than intentions. This idea is often simplified as the claim that the ends justify the means, but its deeper meaning lies in the tension between morality and effectiveness. Society tends to judge actions based on ethical standards, assuming that good behavior leads to positive results. Machiavelli observed that reality does not follow this pattern. Individuals who rigidly adhere to moral rules often find themselves unable to respond effectively when faced with complex or dangerous situations. They hesitate, limit their options, and ultimately lose to those who are willing to act without such restrictions. In contrast, those who prioritize results are able to adapt, make difficult decisions, and secure outcomes that others cannot. This does not imply that morality should be abandoned entirely, but rather that it cannot function as the sole guide in a world shaped by uncertainty and competition. Machiavelli's perspective forces a difficult question. Is it better to remain morally pure and ineffective, or to compromise when necessary in order to achieve stability and survival? His answer leans towards effectiveness, not because he rejects morality, but because he recognizes that outcomes determine reality. Without results, principles have no power. This idea challenges deeply held beliefs, yet it reflects patterns that continue to appear in modern life, where success often belongs to those who combine strategy with flexibility, rather than relying solely on ideals.
Central to Machiavelli's thinking is the concept of virtù, a quality that represents strength, adaptability, and the ability to shape circumstances rather than be shaped by them. Virtù is not about moral goodness, but about effectiveness in action. It is the capacity to recognize opportunity, act decisively, and adjust to changing conditions. This concept is closely linked to fortuna, or the unpredictable forces of chance that influence human life. Machiavelli believed that fortune plays a significant role in determining outcomes, but not an absolute one. Individuals are not completely powerless. While they cannot control every event, they can control their response. He compared fortune to a powerful natural force, like a river that can overflow and destroy everything in its path. Those who are unprepared are swept away, while those who anticipate change and build defenses are able to withstand it. This metaphor illustrates the importance of preparation and adaptability. Success is not simply a matter of luck, but of readiness and action. Those who wait for perfect conditions often miss their opportunity, while those who act in uncertain situations are more likely to shape their future. Virtù, therefore, is the ability to engage with reality as it is, rather than as one wishes it to be. It is a mindset that values awareness, courage, and flexibility. In a world defined by change, this ability becomes a form of power in itself. Equally important in Machiavelli's philosophy is his understanding of appearance and perception. He argued that it is not necessary for a leader to possess all desirable qualities, but it is essential to appear to possess them. This idea reveals a fundamental truth about human perception. People do not experience reality directly. They interpret signals, form impressions, and make judgments based on what they observe. A leader who appears confident, just, and compassionate will be trusted, even if these qualities are not entirely genuine. Conversely, a leader who fails to project strength may lose support, regardless of their actual abilities. Machiavelli recognized that perception shapes behavior. When people believe something to be true, they act accordingly, and those actions reinforce the belief itself. This creates a cycle in which image becomes reality. Control over perception, therefore, becomes a powerful tool. It allows influence without direct force, guiding decisions through expectation rather than coercion. This dynamic extends far beyond politics. In everyday life, individuals constantly manage how they are seen by others. Reputation, status, and influence all depend on perception. Machiavelli did not create this phenomenon, but he made it explicit. He exposed the strategic element behind appearances, showing that they can be shaped intentionally to produce desired outcomes. In the end, Machiavelli's philosophy is not an endorsement of cruelty, but an invitation to awareness. It challenges the belief that the world operates according to simple moral rules and encourages a deeper understanding of human behavior. By examining fear, desire, ambition, and perception, Machiavelli reveals the forces that often operate beneath the surface of society. His ideas can be unsettling because they remove comforting illusions, but they also provide clarity. Understanding how power works does not require one to misuse it. Instead, it allows individuals to recognize manipulation, respond more effectively to complex situations, and make informed decisions.
Machiavelli's work does not demand that we abandon morality, but that we recognize its limitations in a world shaped by competing interests and unpredictable events. Ultimately, his philosophy presents a choice. One can continue to rely on idealized views of human nature, or one can accept a more complex reality and navigate it with awareness. This choice defines how one engages with the world. To see clearly is not always comfortable, but it is powerful, and in that clarity lies the true significance of Machiavelli's thought.